their bylaws and the past practice.
Okay, we are streaming, and
So,
I'll be recording.
okay.
We're
So
good.
with that, I will officially call the meeting to order and recognizing our guests. Um, Other than our candidates, I'm not seeing any guests. We do have a couple of new members joining us who have been appointed as elected officials, representatives, or alternates. Um, with with the body's permission, we'll forego the oath of office for today and accept them as voting members so that we can move on. Tom, do you have the land acknowledgement available?
Yes, give me just a moment to pull that up.
All right. And I will ask, once it's up, our supervisor, Wanda Williams, if she would be willing to read it for us.
I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
I said, once the land, if you will read the land acknowledgement once Tom has it displayed,
Oh,
I'd
yeah,
appreciate that.
yes.
There. All right. Wanda?
I think she's just trying to unmute herself
Yeah.
at the moment.
And maybe unmuting would be helpful. Land acknowledgement. We pause to acknowledge that Solano County Democratic Central Committee of the Democratic Party sits on the land of the Miwok and Patwin people. We remember their continued connection to this region and give thanks to them for allowing us to live, work, learn, and pray in their traditional homeland. We offer our respect to their elders and the Miwok and Patwin people of the past and present.
Thank you so much, Supervisor. We appreciate that. And now jumping back to our meeting. I'll go over the ground rules in just a moment. However, we do have one issue that the membership needs to take action on. One of our candidates did not receive the link in the endorsement questionnaire in a timely fashion. It's been determined that the email went to her spam folder instead of being visible in her email. And so she did not see it until this morning. With that, I want to ask the membership whether you wish to allow Rochelle Sherlock to be added to the agenda and to seek our endorsement despite the fact she was not able to complete the questionnaire and respond in a timely manner. So I will entertain discussion or a motion in either way. From the members, please raise your hand. Pat.
Yeah, I'm a bit disturbed because the questionnaires, I really read them and absorb what people say, especially about the issues that are important to me. So I'm kind of struggling with this because I feel like we don't get enough information anyway. I would like to see resumes for all of my candidates I vote for. So this is a huge issue for me. I'm sorry. So that's my feelings. I'll put that out.
Okay. Others, please raise your hand. Or Kathy, I see you next.
I think it's really disturbing that there wasn't any follow-up to make sure that she did get the email and the questionnaire. I too, like Pat, I did read through all the questionnaires this morning, and also, it would be nice to get them earlier. But I don't think that because somebody didn't see an email that went to their spam, that they should not be able to be eligible for an endorsement vote, because I have things go to my spam all the time.
Yeah, I certainly understand that. Julia, I see your hand next.
Yeah, I do agree with that. The questionnaires went out on Tuesday, and I feel like that was a little bit late for being too draconian about requiring the questionnaire. Maybe we can make an exception and give a little bit more time so that we can ask the questions that feel more like relevant that were in the question.
Okay, that's Vernell, you're next.
Yes, wasn't your original question, do we want to allow Ro- Rochelle Sherlock to participate? Isn't that the original question?
Yeah, because of, again, our policy that we consistently say is we ask the candidates to submit the questionnaire and respond to us by a certain deadline so that we can properly agendize them. That said, we have certainly waived that practice in the past. So I would encourage the members to do what you wish. Please make a motion either way to add her to the agenda. I think in the interest of fairness to other candidates, we'll add her at 11 a.m. And move forward with that if she is added. But I'd like the membership feel free to amend the agenda. I'll entertain a motion to that effect.
I so move. This is Vernell Brumfield, and I so move that we modify the agenda to include Rochelle Sherlock.
Okay, is there a second?
This is Tiffany. I second.
All right, there is a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your hand, either visually or electronically.
Don, do you want a poll on this?
Can you do a poll quickly?
Yeah.
All right, I guess we will have a poll ready. The questionnaires were emailed out Tuesday evening. Once I received the link, they were sent to the campaign addresses of the 4 candidates who qualified, 4 Democratic candidates who qualified for the ballot. And at the request of our information officer, we set a deadline of Thursday evening, so you would have time to compile them and send them out to you. And yes, that's a rushed timeline. However, given our requirements not to begin the process until after the close of filing period and the fact that the legislature in its infinite wisdom scheduled the primary in early March, gave us a very narrow window to do our process. Once the poll is ready, we'll launch that.
Y'all should have a poll.
Okay, please vote.
Okay, it's been a minute 20. Gonna end the poll.
All right.
So it was 17-4.
Okay, that's certainly a clear margin. We will add Sherlock at 11. And she posted in chat that she would endeavor to fill out the questionnaire as much as she's able to this morning, and send it in to us. We had previously said that the ballots would be accepted until 1 p.m. So I'll just encourage her to fill out the questionnaire and try to get it to us as quickly as possible. And then we will forward that out to you if you wish to delay your voting until you have the opportunity to review her questions as well as whatever she says in chat. Well, that is certainly your prerogative. Rochelle, stay your hand up.
Yes, where should I send it? Do I just email it to you, Don, and will you distribute it to the group?
The link is automatic. So once you
Okay.
complete it, fill it out online and click submit, it will go to our information resource officer. He will in turn package it and send it out to us.
Wonderful. And there's a place for me to upload my resume.
There's a link for the photo. You can send your send your resume via separate email to me, and we can forward that out if you wish.
I think our members, Don, consider the questionnaire the resume, correct? I know someone mentioned resume, but I think that is what we consider the resume.
That is our
yeah.
past practice, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I will work on that and I guess rejoin at 11.
You can rejoin. We encourage you to join a little earlier than that in case some of our previous candidates don't take up all the allotted time.
Okay.
So, all right, but thank you again,
Thank
and
you.
appreciate your indulgence.
Yeah, thank you all for letting me come in. I appreciate it.
Rochelle is running in District 2. To answer the question that just popped up in chat. All right, now I believe that I saw that Cassandra James is with us. So if we could spotlight her. All right. Good morning, Ms. James, and I apologize again for the foul up with your name on the original agenda. That's what happens when you're trying to get everything done at the last minute. As we communicated in the email, each candidate will have 2 minutes to give their opening remarks, followed by up to 13 minutes of questions from the members. So give me 1 second. And whenever you begin speaking, I'll start the timer.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning, fellow Democrats. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my values, my personal background, and personal story. I'm not your status quo candidate, nor will I be your status quo supervisor. In fact, if elected, I will be the youngest supervisor to sit on the Board of Supervisors. To be honest, I almost didn't complete the questionnaire in time myself as a working mother who had priorities. And also because when I was in the middle of completing the questionnaire, there was a shooting that was happening right outside my door, and I had to jump to the ground for safety. But I managed the best way that I can, which is always through grit and grace. This has always been personal. This is my story of resiliency. I have the audacity to run for the Solano County Board of Supervisor because Vallejo and our county deserve a fighting chance. I am running to make sure that seniors can age in dignity. Working families have access to quality resources, and to leave our children and youth a thriving and healthy community. I am running to ensure that Vallejo gets its fair share from the county. We need to operationalize equity and ensure that all of Vallejo, and not the same few, could benefit from the upcoming projects and dollars that are going to be poured into our county. My priorities include housing and homelessness, public safety, economic opportunities and growth, and a healthy environment. But most of all, is making sure that Vallejoans in the county knows what is happening and to collaborate with each and every one of you. I look forward to the next few minutes to have a robust conversation and around why I deserve your endorsement for the Solano County Central Committee. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we set our timer here. And our first question is, what is your plan for helping reduce homelessness in Solano County?
Well, the first thing that we need to do in order to reduce homelessness in Solano County is to get our housing element plan completed. Vallejo and Benicia plans are currently under review, and the county plan itself is currently under review. So one, it's really defining where we can build new units, where we could build navigation center or transitional housing for our unhoused. And also it is aggressively going after the state dollars, housing dollars, to ensure that we can fund the organizations that are doing the work on the ground level, and also to build more transitional housing within our county.
Okay, next question. Would you support a ban on all new oil and gas drilling in Solano County?
Yes, I will. And I have signed the fossil fuel pledge as well.
Okay. Next question that I have for you is, how will you handle balancing the concerns of public safety with disparate treatment by law enforcement officers of various members of the community, given that you would be representing essentially portions of the city of Vallejo on the county board?
So being able to balance the two, one, Vallejo has the 19th deadliest police force in the state of California. We need to work with our state attorney general to ensure that they move forward with the reforms that were put into place and actually implement the plan to, we need to move forward with our state attorney general to move forward with the consent decree to actually be able to implement the plan to rebuild trust within our community, to create that safety and relationship within the community as well. But also, understandably, public safety, where we have to now, because we have businesses within our community that are losing their insurance due to the amount of break-ins and due to the lag call time as well. There is the way that we can find this balance is specifically Vallejo Police Department, and it's not incorporating the sheriff, is working with the community organizations that have been funded through Project Hope and Proposition 47 to create the balance of working with the mental health and social services aspect of public safety, while the police actually respond to the break-ins and whatever other emergency services that they are.
Okay. How would you balance growth and development with environmental concerns?
I'm sorry, it broke up for me. My apologies.
How would you balance growth and development with environmental concerns?
So balancing growth and development within environmental concerns. It is looking at one is working with our environmentalists and with other environmental groups, such as Orderly Growth and the Sierra Club, in order to review their plan to see what lands are not where are their preferred lands not to touch or grow. And within growth, we have cities that have abandoned lots or abandoned buildings where we can focus on those areas and build there first, or expand or develop those first before we even think about touching our agricultural or open spaces.
Okay, next question. Can you expand your answer on the Flannery project?
Okay. So, oh yes. So around Flannery, can't, so really can't give a personal opinion because I want to be able to still have the power to vote when it does come before the board. But I can say the economic implications and like the strained government relations, we deserve the transparency and accountability to and that means allowing the community and board of supervisors to review land purchases and to ensure fair dealings, making sure that we have community involvement before there are any development plans, and not just having these impromptu town meetings or surveys that's been happening throughout our county. The sustainable development, and making sure, like, I'm committed to working again with the environmental agencies to ensure any development meets the rigorous sustainability and environmental protection standards. And also we need to have strategic partnerships and mediating that discussion between developers and local government and community leaders and other stakeholders to have a collaborative solution that benefits everyone in the future.
Okay, this is a slightly different take on a previous question. How will you balance the complexities of union job opportunities versus the environment?
So with union jobs, there is a move towards green jobs and ensuring that we have sustainable, environmental friendly jobs within here in Solano County. So this is how we are can balance the two. It's not just the same building a oil mill or a cement plant or clearing land. It's more or less around moving towards union jobs being green friendly and also being able to be trained in the new way for building and sustainability when building new developments.
The next question. The fastest growing population in the county are those 60 and over. Would you support legislation that provides benefits for seniors to age and remain in their homes and communities?
Yes, I will support legislation, and there currently is a task force that Solano County is a part of in regards to our seniors living within the county, and also ensuring for them to remain housed and to receive adequate healthcare within their homes. So yes.
Okay. The city of Vallejo needs to make 35 million plus in improvements to the Mare Island sewer and infrastructure to promote development on Vallejo's best chance of a future. How will you help this?
Currently, there have been monthly meetings in regards to the development and infrastructure around Mare Island. And with that, Mare Island has been deemed a community opportunity zone. So to ensure getting some dollars from the federal infrastructure bill and state as well. In addition to that, there are ongoing conversations with around the cleanup that state legislators are meeting, state and federal legislators are meeting with to make sure that cleanup will happen without it costing Vallejo as well. And what I plan to do is continue to be at the forefront of that conversation and pushing it forward with asking for tangible timelines, also public information, and if need be to request or advocate and working with our state to advocate for the dollars needed for that project.
There is a proposal to bring carbon dioxide from Contra Costa and then all of the oil refineries and dump it in the Montezuma Hills. Without commenting on this proposal specifically, do you have a position on carbon capture and dumping?
No, I do not have a position yet on carbon capture and dumping. Sorry, I'm just reading it in the chat. No, I do not have a position on it, and I would need to and I often rely on my friends that are in environmental spaces to educate me on these key issues.
Do you support a comprehensive tobacco retail license that is being brought to the city council agenda in Vallejo that is revenue neutral and will reduce sales of nicotine products to youth?
Yes, I do support a comprehensive tobacco retail license.
All right, let me move. I think I skipped over one because we touched on it several ways. Our environment in Solano County is under attack from multiple sides, including new gas drilling and exploration, Flannery's Utopian City, as well as other issues. What would you do to protect the climate and help the county to mitigate threats to our climate and environment?
I'm just going to read the question again so I can make sure I took it in correctly. Is that okay, Don?
Certainly, certainly.
Thank
But-
you.
If I can interrupt, I thought I would be going into a waiting room. This is Michael Wilson. Should I log in later?
Yeah, let me have our.
I have just put him in a
Remove you.
waiting room.
All right.
I did not see him pop in. Sorry about that.
Sorry with that. Cassandra, if you're ready to respond, this is your last question. So
Okay, thank you. So I do plan to how would I protect the climate? It is producing and again working with our environmental groups to look at the policies and legislations to see what we could bring forward before the county to ensure that we have climate sustainability, but also to address the repercussions that certain communities and ones that I live in have dealt with the consequences of the threats due to climate threats and mitigation.
all right, that was all of the questions that I saw hitting us, and you cover them quite well. So thank you very much. We appreciate you joining us today. And with that, we will do the swap, putting you in the waiting room and then bringing our next candidate forward. So thank you again.
Thank you.
We would bring forward our next individual, Monica.
Oh, Monica? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Michael, sorry, I brought you in too early. I will move you back to the waiting room. Okay. Monica Brown. Monica is coming in.
All right, if you will spotlight her.
I like looking at you better, Don, than me.
All right. If we're once you have her spotlighted.
Yep, there I am.
Okay, as with all of our candidates, you have 2 minutes for your opening statement, followed by up to 13 minutes for questions from the members.
Okay.
Time will start once you begin speaking. So the floor is yours.
Oh, got it. I switched me. Thank you guys. I was at the Mare Island for Wreaths Across America and raced here. I'm the incumbent. I think I have done a good job to take care of my 3 cities. I would like your endorsement. I love what I do, and hopefully I've developed good enough relations with almost everybody that you can tolerate me for another 4 years. I guess is maybe how to look at it. I like a lot of you know me, so I think my Democratic credentials are clear. And when the question was asked how long you've been a Democrat, I had to go back to April 8th, 1973, when I was 18, and I borrowed the car and went down to register to vote because that's how you used to do it way back when. So I think I have good street creds, and I would like your endorsement, and that's about it. Let's go to Q&A.
All right. You reset our timer.
So, or somebody going to read me the questions?
Yes, if you allow me, Monica.
I apologize, but since
Our
came
environment in Solano County is under attack from multiple sides, including new gas drilling, exploration, and extraction. Flannery's utopian city, dirty carbon waste dumping, as well as other issues. What would you do to protect the climate and help the county to mitigate threats to our climate and environment?
Well, I think we need to work with BCDC. I know the folks down in Benicia, so we're trying to set up a Zoom with that because we're going to have to look at moving sewer lines, whether they're in Benicia or Vallejo, to see what we can do with that. One of the things, since part of the marsh is in my district, is the fact that we still allow gas drilling. And I'm not sure how to eliminate that yet. I know that a lot of folks have sent letters to see what we can do. I think part of it has to do with talking with John Garamendi and seeing what he can do in terms of getting some sort of legislation through, because he now represents all of the 5 refineries. So I think we need to work on that. And obviously planting more trees is always good. Putting in solar Solar should be on every parking lot. So I think there's things that we can do, but it means we all have to work together. So I'm cognizant of the questions coming up in the time. So Dawn, go ahead and go to the second one.
City of Vallejo needs to make $35 million plus in improvements to the Mare Island sewer and infrastructure to promote development of Vallejo's best chance of a future. How will you help find a solution to this?
Well, it would be nice if the CFD went actually there. That, and you've been, many of you that have been paying attention to the folk that the way back when Lennar for over 20 years was supposed to build those 1,000 homes and it didn't happen. So in terms of infrastructure, we need to have grant writers because there's a lot of money that has come with the Biden-Harris administration, and we're just going to have to see what we can do in terms of getting money from the feds to make it happen. And I worry about not only Vallejo in terms of their infrastructure, but we've got the homemakers portion, we've got Benicia, we have parts of Fairfield. In fact, on Mare Island right now, as I was driving, I had to come back a different way. The water mains have broken. So so it's one of those where we're going to have to sit down and do like a 15-20 year plan and see what we can do to make the corrections.
Would you support a ban on all new oil and gas drilling in Solano County?
Yes. My contention is that the permits that have been given should not be forever. There should be always a term, a 5-year limit. And we also have a lot of gas lines that we need to look at and cap them, especially in the Rio Vista area.
Next question. You voted against state bargaining for IHSS workers.
Yep.
Can you please explain why you voted that way?
I certainly shall. First off, my analogy is there's over 1,000 school districts. We do not have a statewide bargaining for that. I don't believe that you should have a statewide. I believe that you should have local control. The other is that we do not in Solano County generate much of any income in the county area. So to think that we can pay $25 an hour when you're competing with LA, when you're competing with Marin and other wealthy counties is just not acceptable. So what I have told In-Home Support Service 2015 is that you need to work with John Garamendi and Mike Thompson, as well as the state. The feds only give 50% of the funds. The state only gives 35% of the funds, and the county comes up with 15% of the funds. Those two funds, the 50% and 35%, have never been increased. We need to go and get those sources. And on the other is that this is not a mandated program, and it's not really set up in terms of, because it's a JPA, Joint Powers Agreement. I don't think it's a JEPA. It might be. But I think we need to look at what we can do because everybody is aging. But I don't believe that one should give up local control.
Okay, next question. What are your thoughts on Highway 37 being a toll road?
Oh, I'm opposed to that. Oh my God, Bill Dodd. In fact, yesterday I was in San Francisco for the Carpenters luncheon that they always put on. And I saw Bill and I'm thinking, not only is the Mercury News talking about the fact that he got that $1.3 billion through with PG&E getting 300 million for their shareholders to make sure the nuclear power plant is still functioning, which we don't need in terms of having reliable energy. We have a lot extra that we've been working on. But the toll road is wrong. And okay. So anyway, and I've been very consistent on that. I did not support Regional Measure 3, raising the tolls. That is wrong. And the other is that in one of my newsletters a couple months ago, I put in there that what MTC, Metropolitan Transportation, which by the way is the polling authority, so you have the same people doing both, wants to have each lane on a freeway. So forget the name freeway, each lane on a freeway to be a toll lane. That is wrong.
Okay, next question. There is a proposal to bring carbon dioxide from Contra Costa and then all of the refineries and dump it in the Montezuma Hills. What is your position on this?
So if it comes to the Board of Supervisors, which I believe it does, let's just say that not every thought is always a good thought, because I don't want to have to be somebody who has to be recused.
The unhoused situation in Solano County is abysmal. What proposals have you put forward or plan to put forward to address this problem, not in the distant future, but immediately?
So the oh, come on, my brain is dead right now. The federal government with John Garamendi and Mike Thompson gives us something where we can write and get funding. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I can't think of anyway, I can't think of it right now. But what we need to look at is taking the funding that we get, and we're not going to be putting it on pet projects, and we use it specifically to house the unsheltered. We have 80 veterans in Solano County that need to be housed. So I think if we look at little groups like that to see what we can get from the Veterans Association. I'm not happy with Gavin Newsom trying to take money from the mental health. If you guys remember way back when, or it still exists now, but there's a proposition where it's the 1% tax on millionaires. Well, Gavin wants to take that and use it for housing. That would be nice, but how are we going to make up for the 15% loss that we're using right now? I would love to house more, but I think part of it is that the county still needs to work on getting grant writers. There's money out there, and what we need to do is just build ADUs, and it can be done, but a lot of it is that it's NIMBYism. There's a lot of people who don't want it in their want unsheltered folks near them. And I think a lot of them also have mental health issues. I think some of them might, if we could take the issue of Social Security and make sure that everybody gets full funding for Social Security, and see what we can use to have some of that money to pay for shelters. So it's all convoluted. It's very complex, and it's going to take another 10, 15 years, seriously, guys, to get the amount of funding to make it happen. And I really think they're going through and looking at the money that we sent and used during COVID. Did we use that appropriately? Because I did talk about at the county level that when the rescue plan money left, what do we have to show for it? Not a whole lot to house people. We could have done better.
How would you balance legitimate concerns concerning public safety with the fact that some police departments and other law enforcement agencies treat different populations disparately, including instances of civil rights violations and wrongful death potentially?
Right. So if you remember a couple years ago, I tried to bring an oversight board in, and that was to deal with the sheriffs, because the deputy sheriff and Tom Ferrara, because we do have 3%ers and Proud Boys in the sheriff's department. The other one that you're talking about just finally got a contract, but in order to have backup, the city would have to pay the county over $1 million just to have backup in terms of the deputy sheriffs to come in. There's also training, and I'm also not happy with Bonta, who, what was it, in 2020, 2021, list, I want to say something like 25, 35, 45 proposals that the city of Vallejo's PD was supposed to take care of, and still haven't done it. And yet when he had that press conference a couple months ago, he did not hold them accountable. So to me, that means that the city council needs to just bite the bullet and do whatever they can to make some sort of changes. And I can help in terms of the deputy sheriffs coming in, but that means that we have to sit down and have a conversation with the city fathers and mothers. That doesn't answer your question, I know, but some people just should be paid off to leave.
Right, I'm looking, I do not see any other questions in chat. So you have about 1 minute left if you wish to give a closing statement.
Okay, so the closing statement is working in the county and then there's city issues. So I know I still get phone emails. Why isn't the bicycle on a Cordelia Road taken care of? Well, that on Lopes Road, I'm sorry. Well, that's city. And I know Benicia and Fairfield are working on it, but there's a lot of layers of bureaucracy to get money to fix things. Homemakers, we're going to be working in that area. It took 7 years, but I made it to the top to work on Benicia Road. And we're getting license plate readers in homemakers. So nothing moves fast, but I appreciate everybody's help and I appreciate you sending me stuff to put in the newsletter, and hopefully everybody has a nice holiday season and vote for me. I think I've represented all of you very well.
All right. Thank you for giving us a bit of your Saturday morning. Appreciate that. And with that, Tom, if you would move us, Supervisor Brown out and move in our next contender, which is Michael Wilson.
Sure thing. Okay, Michael Wilson is in the room. Michael, if you could turn on your camera. There you go.
There I am. Hello, everyone.
If we can spotlight him. All right. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. As with all of our candidates, you'll have 2 minutes for an opening statement, followed by up to 13 minutes for questions from the membership. I will start the timer once you begin speaking.
Good morning. Thank you all for taking the time to meet with the candidates. I think this morning just meeting with the candidates for District 1 and 2 County Supervisor. Thank you. I appreciate your considering my endorsement. For me, service is a lifelong commitment and something that is what primarily I bring to the office of working with Supervisor Hannigan right now as our district representative for the past 11 years, and hopefully as our county supervisor. That service, public service, began as a member of the Vallejo City Council elected in 2007, and that team that worked to bring Vallejo through bankruptcy and most importantly out of bankruptcy on stronger footing. We're still having our struggles, and I think the relationship and connection between the city and the county is extremely important, especially with the District 1 supervisor. My priorities include safety, making sure we have a safe city and county, getting a handle on housing the unhoused, and working on a variety of solutions to make that happen. Revitalizing the Solano County Fairgrounds after years of horse racing to bring it into something new and exciting where we can all live, work, and play right here in the center of Vallejo. And to do that with partnerships, bringing together not just partners with our other state and federal partners, but partners with members of the community, businesses, and Supervisor Hannigan and I have worked hard on a partnership with the Yochadehi Winton Nation, helping fill the gaps so that people in need are able to find the resources they need. A major program of that has been the First Five Center right here in Vallejo. We're looking forward to opening the second First Five Center in Fairfield, and also the Early Learning Center at the old Beverly Hills School. Oh, there's the timer. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that. As soon as I get the timer set, we will begin with questions for you. First question is, our environment in Solano County is under attack from multiple sides, including new gas drilling, exploration and extraction, Flannery's utopian city, dirty carbon waste dumping, as well as other issues. What would you do to protect the climate and help the county to mitigate threats to our climate and environment?
In short, I'd do everything I can to help protect our environment and find solutions that the county can do to decrease emissions, both on our own work, but also in our permitting of other businesses coming into the county. There's lots of places where we can do that, and I think working together with organizations focused on that is going to be important, but also working closely with all of our cities so that we're not working in a vacuum. Similar in the worldwide sector, we can't just have some countries working to reduce emissions and others not. I think increasing opportunities for everything from vehicle charging so that all residents have opportunity to have a no emission vehicle, and also find places to charge them throughout the county. And the county is a great resource and has been a large advocate of that, both in charging stations and working to reduce our emissions, certainly in the past several years.
Would you support a ban on all new oil and gas drilling in Solano County?
Yes, yeah, I don't think we need to be drilling right here in Solano County. Yep.
Next question. The city of Vallejo needs to make 35 million plus in improvements to the Mare Island sewer and infrastructure to promote development of Vallejo's best chance of a future. How will you help find a solution to this?
Well, certainly I think I'd work with the District 2 supervisor and making sure they're the point person on this in the city, and also with the Sand and Flood Control District, which currently Supervisor Hannigan sits on, to make sure to advocate and to try to find grant resources. That $35 million price tag is going to be too high for the ratepayers to be able to pay in the near future. So we need to work collaboratively with the government, maybe with the military, to find a solution so that we can once and for all have Mare Island ready to go and activate, to bring jobs and economic opportunity, to bring housing at all levels, certainly affordable housing, and that toilets can flush and we can have a accessible and useful area on Mare Island, and that it can once again find its strength to be a strong support for the entire county and for Vallejo, certainly.
Could you expand on your answer about whether you publicly endorsed a non-Democrat? Is it a Republican you endorsed?
I don't know that I've specifically endorsed a Republican. In city council races, thinking I've endorsed people, and don't necessarily know if I could clearly attest to their party affiliation or lack thereof.
There is a proposal to bring carbon dioxide from Contra Costa and then all of the oil refineries and dump it in the Montezuma Hills. In general, without specifically addressing this project, what is your feeling on carbon dumping and capture?
Just the whole idea of carbon dumping doesn't sound like something I'd be interested in. I'd like to know more about that program, but certainly any kind of dumping of problems from other areas doesn't make sense to me in the county.
How would you balance the concerns regarding public safety with the con equal concerns that some law enforcement agencies are showing disparate treatment to various populations, including uh, civil rights violations and unlawful use of force?
Well, certainly I believe everyone wants to be safe in our community, and everyone wants to have their civil rights that we enjoy in this country um, protected by everyone, including public safety officers. So I'm, a strong advocate, especially in Vallejo, of having a complete and functioning police force that's not just numbers, but it goes to training and uh, making sure we have the resources that people are behaving well when they're entrusted by the public, and that people are receive the modern education, modern policing opportunities, so that we are not uh, attacking people's human rights and treating people unfairly.
Krishna Abrams endorsed you. You say you want sheriffs to work with Vallejo PD. What would you do to rein in Vallejo Police Department?
Well, the Vallejo Police Department is under the jurisdiction of the city of Vallejo, as we all know. So I think the work that they're doing with the Attorney General's office is very important, and the direction of the partnership with the Vallejo City Council in managing the agreement with the police officers, as well as all the other employees of the city, is essential. And I think the county can be there if needed to offer resources and assistance.
What is your plan for creating equity in Solano County?
Well, I think equity occurs as we all work together. One aspect of equity in Solano County is representation. And we've never had an openly gay Solano County supervisor in our history. Vallejo does have a history of having now our third openly gay Vallejo City Council member. I was the second, and I think that representation makes a difference, that people see LGBTQ plus people in the community, and that acceptance grows, not just among Democrats, not just among any one population, but that people can grow and find that experience as just a part of being who people are. That's one aspect of equity and inclusion, to show our diversity. So I try to do it directly through myself, and as much as I can to help bring people together in celebrating every aspect of our diverse community.
You often tout the Fairgrounds project as a highlight of your service. Was the community involved in that project?
The community has been involved in that project. Specifically, early on, I helped even before I was on city council with community engagement opportunities in the early iterations of the Solano County Fairgrounds. Right now with Solano 360, there's been various hiccups and concerns certainly in the public partnership side between City of Vallejo, the county, and the state that are working to be addressed. I'm looking forward to, certainly if I was county supervisor and this project's moving forward, a robust community outreach component. Sometimes you can't just create a plan from scratch with dots and stickers all over the place, but to start with a base plan and advance from there. We're seeing that with the California Forever Plan, but they have a glob and saying we want walkable communities, but no base of a skeleton. I think, a base of a specific plan, which we have at the Solano County Fairgrounds, and then to try to find how can we work together in the community, with the community, hearing those voices and adding and subtracting and developing the plan as it moves forward. So I'm looking forward to a even more robust community connection with the Solano County Fairgrounds project.
The unhoused situation in Solano County is abysmal. What proposals have you put forward or do you plan to put forward to address this problem, not in the distant future, but immediately?
Well, certainly we need to find housing and opportunity for people who are currently unhoused. I think the two projects on Sacramento Street and Broadway Street are testaments to what we can do working together. Those projects represent working together with the city, county, and other agencies. Of course, it's just a small part of the population, but as we start stitching those type of opportunities together, other programs that people are doing to bring people into housing, certainly people like Bernice Newell, and getting people out of housing, into housing, off the street into housing, and for the county to continue to play its role offering mental health resources and trying to find ways to assist people who need those resources.
South Vallejo has been hard hit on many fronts. What is your plan to address these issues, and what do you see as problematic?
South Vallejo has been hit on what? I don't understand what fronts you're asking.
I'm relaying the question as sent to me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So again, South Vallejo has been hard hit on many fronts. So I guess let's take it as you will.
Okay. South Vallejo, certainly a part of District 2. I would want to work closely with the District 2 supervisor, and I look forward to working collaboratively with the District 2 supervisor and all the supervisors throughout the district. As a county supervisor, obviously I would represent the entire county, but would be respectful in working with the supervisor who's elected from any certain area. But on South Vallejo, I do believe it needs a strong connection to our city and county, and opportunities to, whether it's facade improvement or home improvement, business storefront improvement, cleaning. It has been hit hard by many things, but it's also right at the entrance of the city. I think one shining star of South Vallejo certainly is in California Maritime Academy, doing great work, and I think they're a great partner that could continue to help rise all boats in that area, not the least of which employing local citizens and being an even stronger part of South Vallejo. But we have a real bright shining light right there at the that entrance toward Vallejo, and I think it could be capitalized upon.
Okay, you have less than 30 seconds left, so I'll give you a moment for a brief closing statement.
Again, I'd like to thank all of you for the work you're doing, and deeply appreciate your consideration of endorsing my campaign. More information about me, as you know, is on wilsonforsupervisor.com. Wherever you decide with the endorsement, I do encourage and appreciate your knowing me, and look forward to working with you in the future. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate you taking the time to meet with us today. And with that, Tom, if you would bring in our final candidate, if she is in our waiting room, that would be Rochelle Sherlock.
Okay, Rochelle is in the room.
Okay, as soon as we have her spotlighted. Hey, good morning. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your willingness to work with us through all the technical issues that are going on, as with all of our candidates. You will have 2 minutes for an opening statement, followed by up to 13 minutes for questions from the members. And as an aside, I'll encourage our members to kindly start putting your questions in chat now. I will start the timer once you begin speaking.
Okay. Thank you for allowing me to come in and being flexible. This is really critical. I am running for office for a couple of reasons. One is I've had residents throughout the district ask me to run for office, saying we need vision and leadership. They see the things that I'm able to do, the way I'm able to bring stakeholders together to get things done, and they're really looking for some of those really pragmatic and practical solutions. Solano County is facing a lot of issues, and I have a unique skill set, a unique set of experience of community service my entire career, my entire adult life. I've been in service of some form or the others, donating my time into the community. My degrees and my consulting, I'm a small business owner and background is really, I'm a leadership strategist and organizational effectiveness consultant. And what that means is I understand the role of leaders. I understand organizational systems. I understand how partnerships should work. And Solano County is not very good at establishing cross-jurisdictional partnerships. We need much better partnerships. We need collaboration, and we need to restore public voice because, as you probably are aware, the Board of Supervisors voted to close down numerous advisory boards across the district. And those advisory boards are a way for public citizens to provide input into critical issues that are important to them. And the Board of Supervisors, by the way, has a policies and procedures that says that they will provide the support for these advisory boards. So there was no real justification to remove them. My intention, there's been millions of dollars that have been left on the table. The county has not applied for funds that are critical for county services. For example, there were $200 million in homeless encampment grant funds that were available from the state. Solano County did not apply. They were the only county that could apply, only entity that could apply. The cities were not eligible. So instead, they said they didn't have a grant right or they didn't apply. This is the kind of stuff when we think about how systems work that I can leverage my expertise and my passion for the community and bringing people together to really identify what's going on with our capacity. Why are we leaving money on the table? Why aren't we partnering better? And how do we bring people together to begin to address some of these really pressing issues that we're facing and do it together?
Thank you. That's your 2 minutes. Wanted to allow you to finish your sentence there. All right, now we move on to our questions. First question is, would you support a ban on all new oil and gas drilling in Solano County?
All new, yes. It makes no sense to me at all to have anything new that's going on. Absolutely.
Next question. Our environment in Solano County is under attack from multiple sides, including new gas drilling, exploration and extraction, Flannery's Utopian City, dirty carbon waste dumping, as well as other issues. What would you do to protect the climate and help the county to mitigate threats to our climate and environment?
The first thing that I would do is I think it's really important to understand, let me back up real quick. The county does not have the appropriate planning staff that really has the kind of expertise that we need to be able to navigate and deal with things like the Flannery Group, right? So the county a long time ago said, hey, we're going to leave the development to the cities, which was smart. I think that was really great. And the goal was to keep the development within the cities, right? Within the city district. The county, though, unfortunately doesn't have planning staff that's really has the kind of expertise that we need. And we need to make sure that we've got that level of expertise because there's going to be a lot of nuances going on. With the Flannery Group, I think one of the things is we need to protect the orderly growth policy that's in place. It's going to sunset in 2020. Part of the way that we're going to protect it is we need to bring people together. And when I have a long history of figuring out what it is that people are really invested in. And, I do a lot of facilitation, a conflict resolution, and really going, what are we trying to do? And if we're trying to create a healthy, thriving county, then how can we get there without destroying our environment? How can we get there without putting Travis Air Force Base at risk? How can we get there that's bringing everybody along with us, right? Because we have to make sure that we're also bringing people along who can't afford, or they can't afford to live in Solano County. So in that example, there is a need for housing and there is a need for economic development. And what we need to do is we need to really work with the cities to do smart growth and development so that it's kind of bringing all the different stakeholders together, that it stays within the boundaries of the cities, doesn't encroach out into our open spaces, which what makes Solano County so incredible to live here. It's why I love it. I'm sure it's why all of you love it. But then at the same time is meeting some of the needs where people don't have a place to live. We've got a huge on-house population. Some of that is the lack of any affordable housing to live. And a lot of families have doubled up or tripled up because they can't afford to rent or they can't afford to buy a home here in Solano County. There's just not very much in the way of vacancy. So it's a complex, wicked problem. And those complex, wicked problems, I'm really adept at addressing because that's what I do with organizations. That's what I've done with planning. And it's really bringing the different stakeholders together to go, how do we solve this? Well, and making sure that we're protecting our environment, protecting our open space, and making sure that these billionaires who have so much money, who will probably use that money to lock the county and the cities in lawsuits, right? We need smart people to figure out, and one of my gifts is not, I think one of the intelligences I have is finding smart people, finding the subject matter experts, saying, how do we come together? And what do we need to do? And what are the opportunities and leverage we have to protect ourselves against what's happening? So that's the way I would do it. It's a high level, but there's a lot of nuances to it.
There is a proposal to bring carbon dioxide from Contra Costa and then all of the oil refineries and dump it in the Montezuma Hills. In general, without specifically addressing this project, what is your feeling on carbon dumping and capture?
So there's things that I don't have a tremendous amount of expertise in yet, and background in. So, but my understanding is that carbon dumping actually is only good for like 50 years. It's not a solution. It's just kicking that dirty can down the road. So we have to really figure out what are the alternative solutions. I am not a proponent of carbon dumping, burying any kind of carbon that somebody's going to have to deal with 50 years from now, because 50 years from now, we're going to be dealing with sea level rise. And in fact, that's one of the things, this district has a lot of water surrounding it. It's one of the things that I would like to begin to do is bring people together to go, how do we begin to look at sea level rise and climate change and the impacts it's going to have to us on so many levels, including how it will affect anything that would happen out in the Montezuma Hills. But I am not a proponent of carbon dumping. I don't think it's not a sustainable solution.
Next question. The city of Vallejo needs to make $35 million plus in improvements to the Mare Island sewer and infrastructure to promote development of Vallejo's best chance of a future. How will you help find a solution to this?
Oh, wow, that's a big question. Again, not knowing all of the details and nuances. I know that there has been a lot of pollutants that have been there in the bay. I know there's been a lot of stuff and cleanup that they have to do environmentally. It is my understanding that some of the blocks that's happening there on Mare Island actually is from kind of administrative, what I'd call administrative barriers on the side of the city of Vallejo in part. But one of the things that I think is really important is that the county address any administrative barriers that would block growth, right? And so we want Mare Island to be a thriving economic hub, but we also want to preserve the historic character. We want to preserve, like, it was a military base. It's just a beautiful place. And there's some beautiful open space there as well. And so looking at what are those administrative barriers, what funds are available to leverage to help do any of the cleanup and mitigation that needs to happen in order to do any of this work, and making sure that the plans that are in place by the developers actually consist with creating more of a sustainable environment and a sustainable economy.
What is your plan to help seniors in the county with housing and aging in place?
I'm glad you asked that question. So for those of you that know me, and Dawn Laurie has known me for many, many years, Vernil and others have known me for many, many years. So I was a co-founder of the Senior Coalition. I was tasked to help establish the Senior Coalition. And then I was the coordinator consultant with that for many years. And during my time and tenure there, we did a tremendous amount of accomplishments. We did things like establish the first fall prevention. We were addressing senior poverty. And actually, before I chose not to renew my contract and continue the work there, had started a program called Bridging Opportunities, and it's kind of similar to the Carquinez Villages. It's this notion of, right, how do we foster the community-based support for connection and services? Here's two things that we can do right now, concrete. The city of Napa just got over $1 million worth of funding from ABAG MTC that was related to housing seniors. It's my understanding Solano County didn't even apply. We have far more seniors, and we have far more seniors living in poverty. The median income over there in Napa County is something like $90,000. Our median income is far less than that. The county is leaving money on the table. We could have used that funds. I have suggested and was shot down, by the way, by the director of the Area Agency on Aging, that we needed to do a shared housing program. And I was actually suggesting it to a nonprofit and saying, hey, it was a nonprofit that serves seniors. Here's a way that we can do a shared housing program. And shared housing programs are typically run by nonprofits. And the director said, no, the county has to do it. County has done nothing. The senior services have kind of really dried up. There's a couple of good agencies that are doing some things, but the kind of work and visibility that we were doing before is pretty non-existent. So a shared housing program is where you match seniors who have housing assets, right? They live in a home, but maybe they don't have a lot of income. They may have purchased, or maybe they're renting a home, but they don't have a lot of income. And then you match them with somebody who doesn't have a lot of income, but who can do things like maybe do some cooking with them or do some of the daily activities of daily living for those seniors. And by pairing them, it does a couple of things. Not only does it help house somebody who's got low income, right, who can get along with a senior and have reduced levels of rent at that house, but by supporting the senior, but it actually reduces loneliness and actually contributes to overall quality of life and health. That is such a simple, low-hanging fruit way to begin to address some of this. It keeps the seniors in their home. It helps other people who have low income, have lower levels of income, find a place to live. So those are two concrete things that we could have done. We could have done the shared housing a long time ago. We should have applied for that grant. There was an article in Napa just recently. Here it is again. Solano County is leaving money on the table. We're not going after it. And we're not going after it because we don't have vision. We're not going after it because at the Board of Supervisor levels, they actually need to be talking to staff about, are we looking at every single thing that's available to us? And if we don't have a grant writer, because my understanding is that's the reason why they said they haven't gone after these grants, then why don't we hire a grant writer on contract? It doesn't cost that money. You can hire them by grants, and then once you get the grant funds in, then you can hire staff to manage the program. These are things we shouldn't be missing. And that these are things that I will work to make sure that we're doing, and I'll work collaboratively with the peers on the Board of Supervisors to get these kinds of things done.
Have you publicly endorsed a non-Democrat?
No.
Next question. Do you support a comprehensive tobacco retail license for Vallejo, such as the one being considered by the City Council, to dramatically reduce the sale of nicotine products to youth?
Oh, that we should not be selling nicotine products to youth. And I would support anything that stops that sale. That is illegal. It creates addiction. It's harmful to the youth, their overall health. Absolutely. Now, saying I don't know what all is going in there because I haven't read it, but anything that's targeting youth to get them addicted to different substances, I think is really important that we tackle.
Would you include labor standards in building affordable housing?
Yes.
How would you address the problem of 3%ers in the Sheriff's Department? And are there ways to rein in the Vallejo Police Department?
I'm not familiar with 3%ers. Can you clarify what that is? And if not, that's fine. I'll go on to answer the other part.
My understanding is that the 3%ers are, among other things, very aggressively pro Second Amendment. That's a gross simplification, so perhaps focusing on the second part.
Okay, all right, I'll focus on the second one. You know, the Vallejo Police Department has a lot of challenges that we all know exist. We have to support a healthy police department. The crime is throughout, off the charts in Vallejo. And it's sad because a lot of the communities that are targeted are the lower income communities, communities of color, those that are often maybe not like as invested in there. It's real easy for this kind of behavior to occur. We have to figure out a way to, one, create and foster a healthy law enforcement department, and make sure, and what that means is that we're no longer can an officer shoot somebody, abuse somebody, etc. We need to deal with the bad cops, but a lot of cops, I think, really are in it for the right reason. I don't know all of the officers that are currently there, but I think what we have to do is we have to give them the space, and the city needs the resources to actually support a better law enforcement community relationship that can begin to impact. I've talked to quite a few people in Vallejo, and even people in Benicia who will go to Vallejo to shop, like over at Costco, and they're afraid. There are people that a woman just told me the other day, she's lived in Vallejo for most of her life. And she said that, she's wondering if she needs to move because as she's getting older, is she going to be targeted? Can she not be able to walk out onto the street? So we have to do something, and it's going to not just be about law enforcement. We also have to make sure that we're providing the level of services, mental health services, substance abuse services, job opportunities for people, targeting kind of the root causes of crime. And that's where the community safety net comes in.
13 minutes. So thank you very much for joining us today, and we look forward to receiving your questionnaire as soon as you have the opportunity to complete that. So thank you again. We appreciate you giving up your Saturday morning to be with us.
Thank you for allowing me to come. I hope that you'll look at my questionnaire and look at my long history of getting things done. And I do it with others, and I do it with the community, and it's because I genuinely care about the community. Okay, is that it then? Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And with that, we'll bring it back to our membership for your consideration. So everyone, you should see in the chat, we have provided the code necessary, or our information officers provided the code necessary for you to fill out your ballot and have it counted. Reminder that only the voting member can cast a ballot if both the member and the alternate are present. We will be counting the first ballot that you submit, so make your decisions wisely and once. And you have until 1 p.m. to submit your ballot. So please do so. Again, you can, if you wish to take the opportunity to wait until the questionnaire has been sent out, feel free to do so, or you can vote at any time between now and 1 o'clock. Does anyone have any questions or comments? I see Bonnie's hands up.
Yeah, thank you. I just had a question. So I didn't see Bridget Hunley here. I believe she's running for supervisor. And what is she not seeking endorsement, or is there a different process?
Bridget did not qualify for the ballot, so she is not a candidate for office at this time. I understand there may be some legal maneuverings regarding that, but at this time she's not a candidate for public office.
Don?
Tom?
Yeah, can I bring Monica and Cassandra back in for this discussion?
Sure.
For meeting their members.
All right, welcome back to our members who are also candidates. I will just, as any discussion continues, remind you, you've already had your chance to make your pitch for support, so please refrain from being a candidate. Corey, I see your hand up next.
Morning, Don. I'm out precinct walking for Amy Tran Russell, so I'm mobile. Tom, I couldn't send over the roster because I'm driving and I couldn't do it. And the authentication code just showed up. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Um, I think we will have the roster of those who the current roster is available for us, as well as those who are joining us today. I think that answers your questions. Kate Patrice, I see your hand next.
Thank you so much. I have so much respect for this process because I've been on two sides of this tree as a candidate and as a person that had to carry on endorsement process. But I would like to see for sure as of last Friday, I think 5-6 p.m. we knew the candidates it was closed, the list was closed. So, I would have liked to have, Friday night, Saturday for all the candidates to have gotten this questionnaire, giving them enough time to do this process. We've had years of refining questionnaires. We're so good at it, and they're so detailed. There's only a few probably tweaks for us. So, I would like to see that process change, and also, I would like to see a closing statement for everyone. So everyone got a closing statement, and I didn't hear one for Cassandra James. So I feel like, I don't know. I want us to have an equitable lens when we look at this stuff. And also there was a candidate that was in the room, the virtual room here, while another candidate was speaking. A candidate popped in, let's put them all in a waiting room. I love process, and process makes things more equitable. So I say that with all respect. I know the work that goes into this, but I wanted to bring those up. Thank you.
Yeah. Just as a clarification, point of fact, the District 1 race did not close until Wednesday, even though no candidate filed. So our process is to hold it open until the filing period closes. With that said, there was miscommunication between myself and the information officer. I thought he was aware that I had requested that he prepare and send out the ballots, the questionnaire rather, and that communication apparently was not sufficiently clear to him. So once I became aware of that, we sent him an urgent reminder and we got them out. It's all, again, this is always a challenge when we are trying to juggle the closing of the filing period and again the holiday season. Julia, I see your hand next. Julia, did you have a comment or question? If you're speaking, I'm not hearing you. Okay. Not hearing question. I'm not seeing any other hand.
Julia put in chat, never mind, I was talking.
Okay. All right. Not seeing any other hands. Again, you should all have received the ballot via email, and you should also see in the chat the authentication code that you'll need to enter. So we will send that out to you if you have not already received it. And please vote accordingly. Okay, I see a question. I will follow up with that person directly. You should have been on our list for one of our new appointees, but we will get you that ballot. With that, not seeing any other hands up. Thank you all for again giving up your Saturday mornings. Please vote, and the ballots will be held until open until 1 o'clock, at which point the results will be tabulated and we will get them out to you. So thank you all. Have a happy holiday season, and please remember to join us for our awards dinner in January. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Okay. All right. See you all. Have a good day.
Jeanette has her hand up real quick.
Oh, just as I'm ready to let us be free, Jeanette. You're muted if you're trying to speak. Or was that a vote? Okay.
Tom, I'm trying to use the authentication code and it says it's not valid.
It's case sensitive. You have to type it in exactly as shown. It will also be mailed out so you can copy and paste it.
Okay, I think I have it. Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Take care. Happy holidays, everyone.
And Alicia, we will follow up and send you that ballot if you've not already received it. Because you should be on our list, but we'll take care of it. All right, folks.
And Don, if you have the current roster, can you email it to me so I can validate members to attendees?
Certainly, I'll get that to you in just a few minutes as well.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Yeah. Happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
And don't forget to vote in the awards as well.
Bye-bye.